I, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honoring the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Yeah. Item C, announcements on disclosure of conflict of interest. Any conflict of interest or appearance of a conflict of interest on the items on this agenda shall be cleared at this time. I don't believe we have any conflicts of interest on this agenda item. So we're going to go ahead and move forward. Well, before I move forward, I do want to kind of discuss some new rules going forward. Going forward, we will not, when we get to the discussion phase of an item, it will be discussion between the council members. Don't bother raising your hand because we won't be calling, I will not be calling on you. If you want to talk about something that's on the agenda, you can sign up and we will give you 3 minutes to whatever concerns you might have. You can come up to the podium and voice those concerns, but it will not be a back and forth. Um, the last council meeting we had, there was a verbal altercation that became a little physical, and we want to avoid those. Going forward, if there is any issues with people getting a little out of hand, we will stop the meeting. We will call the sheriff's department, and they will send a deputy out here to escort you out. So that's just some new rules going forward. We're going to move to item D, public announcements. We have Ms. Carrie Moore. She is the field representative for Congressman Michael Cloud. Ma'am, maybe you want to come up. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate your time.
Well, you took my thunder. You just announced what I was gonna. My name is Carrie Moore. I'm the new field rep for Congressman Michael Cloud. So I'm coming to all the city council meetings, county commissioner meetings. I'm interested to make sure that I know what's happening in Odem and anything that needs to be relayed to the congressman. That is my job. Anything that y'all have that you would like to invite the congressman to, that is my job to get it to him in DC. And that way, when he comes to town, he'll be able to address any of your concerns. So I'm here for you, and just let me know if there's something pressing or that you need me to know, and then I'll be relaying things back from the congressman to you guys. So I have plenty of business cards if you need any. I'm here for all of you. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carrie. I really appreciate it, and we'll definitely probably be reaching out to you soon. We have a lot of great things going on here in Odem, and we could definitely use the congressman's help to kind of get the word out there for us. So I appreciate your time. We also have Mr. De Leon. Do you want to speak right now, or would you like to wait until we get to that item? Okay, sir. Thank you. Non-action items. We're going to, item A, receive a report regarding administrative activities, the city election, and project updates. Mr. Hernandez?
Yes. So I'll just start. This month, with Betsy taking the lead, we'll be adjusting our payroll dates so that we have a full business week to process payroll, putting pay 1 week in the rears. So this month would have been 3 paychecks for staff. Instead, we've put it to 2 and going back about arrears. So instead of, the payroll ending on a Thursday and then we'd have to scramble to get payroll done and out that Friday, now we're going to have full 5 business days to do it. And then payroll will start on Saturdays, going to Fridays, and then so on and so forth, as far as payroll pay periods. So, I'm sorry. So we're moving along with that. The next step is to do direct deposits. That'll be the next step in getting us into a little bit modernization as far as doing our payroll. Our new meter installation will begin in the last week of this month, so at the end of this month, May, and the training for master meters for staff will begin at the end of June. So we're moving along with that as well. As far as the bid project for the roads, we did have one bid. It was over the 200,000 the council had approved. However, our engineer did a closer assessment of our streets to help us narrow down the original list. So that'll help us narrow down from the what's estimated to do sort of a full-blown street project. But I understand there might be some other conversations maybe to have with the county to see about getting a better deal as far as getting some of our more high-traffic streets done. The speed humps are still coming. We just didn't want to double up on work where we're going to put speed humps and we have a whole new road put in. So I do apologize for the delay, but we are getting there. They're going to get done. We're ordering speed hump signs as we speak. So we are moving along. And I do apologize for the delay, but we're getting there, I promise. In your packet, you'll see a resignation letter from the EDC board. Commissioner Ruben Gonzalez, who serves as the vice president, has given his resignation. I don't know if you want to read that.
You can go ahead. Go ahead. I mean, you're already going into it.
You want me to read it? Yes, sir. Okay. So, Mayor David Maldonado, I'm writing to formally resign from my appointed seat as a board vice president and board member of the Odem Economic Development Corporation effective May 6, 2025. It has been an honor to serve on and contribute to the mission of the EDC. I've truly valued the opportunity as a board member and the friendships that were made along the way. However, I find that I need to focus on the commitments that require my attention at this time. I want to assure you that I will continue to support the Odem community as Precinct 3 Commissioner, and will remain dedicated to addressing their needs. Thank you for your support, collaboration experiences I have had during my time serving as board member. I wish the Odem Economic Development Corporation continued success in all its future endeavors. Thank you for understanding. Sincerely, Ruben Gonzalez. With that being said, in June, we will be appointing all new board members with the new council coming in. So I'll be setting up a post notification out to the public of anyone who has an interest in wanting to be part of, to be considered to be part of the Odem Economic Development Corporation. You'll just email me or drop a letter off by City Hall. I'll be posting, most likely probably around the 23rd of this month, giving some time to kind of get everything together and get the package prepared. And that'll be all 7 spots, right?
Yeah,
All 7 spots will be reappointed or appointed. And like I said, we're going to shoot for June 3rd for y'all to do that. Yes. We did not receive any letters of interest on the library board. So I put out a new deadline for those letters with this, and I'll be putting out with a summary of the board's responsibilities along with that. So the 23rd will be the cutoff date for that. Also, there's 4 positions open on the library board. Right. Well, there's 7 total, so 3 are still on, and there's 4 vacancies that we need to fill so that they can have a full board. And basically, the board kind of helps guide, keeping up with the library, making sure that certain, any kind of facility upgrades, any kind of support that Donna needs. The board will kind of assist with that. Now, that is different from the Friends of the Library, which is sometimes the same people, but that's a nonprofit. It operates separately. So I just want to make sure that's clear as well. I have received the official election results. That was of today for the May 3rd election from the county elections office. And we are set to canvass the votes on May 13th at 7 p.m. And then after the following adjournment, we'll be swearing in the entire council will get sworn in again. So everyone will have to do certifications. And I'll say this again at that time, that we'll need to get everyone to do their Open Meetings Act training and Public Information Act training, as well as other the newly elected officials will have their training as well that needs to be done as well. Let's see, and I was hoping that this would have been done by this meeting, but it didn't happen. So hopefully by the next regular meeting, we'll have a new microphone system. The equipment's been ordered. It's kind of got on back order, but as soon as the vendor gets the equipment in, they'll schedule installation date. And it'll be basically a hardwired system. So it'll run this way behind the mayor up to the ceiling to our sound area over there. And that'll eliminate the issues we've been having with the sound with our current system. So like I said, I was hoping to surprise y'all with the new system, but it didn't happen. So
Hey, Sal, on that one, are they going to be able to unplug it? Because sometimes we move these things around. Is that going to be
the wire? It's all going to be through here,
correct?
through the system here, right? They're wired along this way. They're going to drop down on the floor. They'll be covered, so there's no tripping hazard. And they're going to go into the wall, up through the ceiling, and drop down. It's going to be done what they call a snake, where you can plug multiple microphones into one box. That way, and we'll have to kind of still play around with it. But if you want to still do your workshops kind of out here, that might still be an option. It might require some additional equipment, with the hardwiring stuff, but we can get to that bridge when we get to it. So, that's all I have.
Okay, I know that you brought up the road project that was a little overpriced, or that was priced a little higher than we expected. But we are working with, I've been working with the Commissioner Gonzalez, the Precinct 3, to have what's it called, a mutual
Agreement.
a mutual agreement between the city and the county. He purchased a new piece of equipment that can help us redo our potholes, and actually, hopefully they'll last instead of just, getting pushed back out and then we have to fill it again. And he's willing to help the city any way he can. That MOU was actually sent to our city attorney here to review, and I think you said you had had an opportunity to review it.
That's good.
That's good. So
Y'all want to put in the agenda to execute it, or?
I think that next week, since we're for our agenda, if we can do that as part of the swearing in and everything of that on that agenda, we can do that. Sal, I really, we can maybe send out some information, maybe send a copy of the MOU to all the council members, maybe get email addresses for the new council members that are coming in so they can get a chance to look at it as well. So we could, I think that's gonna help us a lot going forward, being able to have that partnership between the county. Matter of fact, the last mosquito spraying that we did, we actually coordinated. You said it's hard when the city sprays, but they don't spray out in the county. Well, where do the mosquitoes go? They just come, So we said, let's try to do it all together. While you guys are doing the county, we'll do the city, and maybe we can, maybe send them to next town over, So we're going to try to do a lot of that. We're going to try to work together, especially when we're dealing with those pesky critters. So thank you, Sal, for your report. We're going to go ahead and move on to item B, receive a summary about sales tax. This little Councilman Falcon will kind of go over a little bit about, I think there was a lot of questions about this election, about the Proposition A, I believe it was, on the street maintenance fund. And so Councilman Falcon here will talk a little bit about that.
A good thing, it passed. So that'll kind of help you with our MOUs with with the streets, so that's more money. Just basically, it says sales tax. There's nothing about property. People think, oh, they're my property tax go up. It's not gonna go up. All it is, it's in our ETJ, that's the city of Odem. If you go to the grocery store and get say popcorn or Coke, you're gonna pay 8 1/4. So 6.25 goes to the state, 2.0 stays in the city, and there's a breakdown. 1% goes to our general fund. The other 0.5 goes to our EDC, which is Economic Development Council, which we're going to have a project here in a little bit that helps out with, say, parks and other things for the city. And the 0.5 is, which I'm glad that passed, it's the street maintenance repair, which will help also with MOUs and get a little bit of money for that. So that's basically in the skinny right there. Any questions? Huh?
What's the MOU?
It's an agreement between the county and the city.
Okay,
So,
that's why you just said that.
yeah. So,
Memorandum of, yes. So,
um,
and with that money we get from,
well,
we get how much, just a rough estimate, about 60,000? 60,000 a month. That's, and then say, what, 40,000 goes to the city?
Same thing, like that'll be, half of it goes to the general fund and then the other half's to.
So 30,000 goes to the general fund, we can use for almost anything we want. In the other, well, we usually get about $10,000 for EDC and then about 10,000 for the road. So that just, so like, I want to say it's a sales tax. It's not a property tax. So people go, oh, my property tax. No. That's it.
all right. So we'll move on to our discussion and action items. Item A, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the minutes of the regular meeting held April 1st. I have a motion. I have a motion by Councilman Falcon to approve. I have a second. Second by Councilman Gonzalez. Any discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry. This might be an attorney question. I see this as a starting points for the ordinance support. You know, we really close session at 7:15, came out able to. Now, this something happened, we said that no action was taken, and, well, action had been taken from out of the picture. So is there anything we put down in there?
When you come back out, you're gonna push it, for time you come back out,
Right.
reconvene,
But
and only, you say, no action.
that's, we can just add that in there.
No action during executive session.
No action was taken in there. Well, it can be an exec, John, when it comes back. So that's it.
Any other discussion? Then we'll move on for a vote to approve the minutes of the regular meeting on April 1st. Place one.
I'll abstain, I was not here.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Place two. Place four.
Yes.
Place five.
Yes.
The motion carries. Item B, receive a presentation from well, let's go ahead and we're going to move item C, Odem Economic Development Corporation, Resolution 641. We're going to move that up. The others are actually sitting online. So this is discuss, consider, and take action to approve Resolution 641 for the Odem Economic Development Corporation to provide up to $68,960 to the firm of Half Associates Incorporated for a master plan and agreement for professional services on a defined scope of services based for the Odem Central Park. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion by Councilman Falcon and a second by Councilman Huerta. You are welcome to come up and talk a little bit about what you are working with Councilman Falcon on,
Or the EDC.
or the EDC.
You got any?
Good evening, my name is Mark Zach, I'm with Half Associates. We're an engineering, design services firm, out of San Antonio, corporate headquarters in Richardson, Texas. We were approached by Jesse Falcone. We have an office here in Corpus as well. That's how we got in the city of Odem with Jesse Falcone and Sal. Met with them on the city park here across the street and talked about doing a master plan for the park so we can come up with a vision, for the park and help phase what those design improvements are. I know there's some playground equipment coming in and swing sets. There's kind of some historic sentimental structures in the park that we're going to work with and again, just work with council and the city to develop a plan for this plan and vision for the park.
And I think that it would be good, I mean, for the citizens out there in the community to, once we get this going, if we can get it going here, to have some input from the community on what you would like to see at this city park. I mean, I know a lot of us who have grown up here, used that park as kids, and, a lot of our kids have run around on that park. Now we have grandchildren running around at that park. But I think there's a lot of space there that we could utilize differently, and hopefully we can get some input from the community and see what they'd like to see.
Yes, we welcome, of course, public. We don't have a real public engagement component, but I think.
Well, Mayor, it has on the master plan, they are going to come in and have some 4 hours of, public comment. Then that takes about 2 weeks. They got a, I don't know if you want to say, 2 weeks of, public comment, then 4 weeks with the city, us, and then 8 weeks developing the plan that the city council and everybody's going to get together. So it's not just going to be, it's everybody's going to be the citizens, city council, and just any engineers, they're going to be in there. And it's all in the scope of plan, so they pretty much have everything. And they got all kinds, I think you have the master plan has a little thing, people moving, I think. So later on, don't you have like little people moving in the park and stuff? I think, but that's later on.
Once we get to the master plan.
If we get that big one,
With the trail,
yeah.
yeah, we talked about, so some of the things we talked about, there's a water structure, on the building, you know, talking about using that as an interpretive element, that's a kind of a significant, historical piece
Very
on
good.
site. Of course, the corner, the memorial there, we want to, provide some updates and kind of spruce up that corner and for the memorial. We talked about, just in our conversation, about creating a loop trail that might be able to be used for market days or, in addition to, of course, exercise and daily use, but and then also connect those other elements within the park, from parking to pavilions to playgrounds. And, so yeah, we're open to ideas, however we want to get that from the community, or maybe we'll work with Jesse on
Anybody else?
those suggestions.
It might be
We'll come up
somebody
with a
else.
couple alternative layouts, just to kind of throw some ideas down and with what we're, with our experience with parks and parks like this. And then we'll take those, couple alternates, get some feedback from the community and council, and then we'll refine one master plan.
So a big thing, it's not going to be the city council making this, it's going to be the community.
Right.
It's all, and they're going to have input, like, there's going to be like 2 weeks of, get people coming out here and just talking, and maybe meeting out in the park and saying, hey, I like a water park or something like that. So
I think this would be, I think most of y'all who have been attending the city council meetings know that I would like to honor Billy Joe Tennille by naming our city park after Mrs. Tennille. And I think that if we can get this master plan and actually get and do some, some projects out there and make our, park a little bit more user-friendly, I think that when we open it up to the public, that would be a great time to really unveil the new naming of our park. Obviously, we still have to, discuss it with council members, but I think that there would be a great place to honor Billy Joe and the many years that she put in to our community here. So I think it's a great idea.
another thing, probably a lot of people don't know, the city of Osum does have a comprehensive plan. And it's from 2013 to 2033. And on the key considerations number 4, it has our city park. And it has a, splash pad, a gazebo. So they were thinking about this back in 2013. So this is, part of our master plan also. It'd be good if we get this scope to go out to Steel Dynamics or some of these big fields. They can say, here's our master plan. This is what we like. Can we get some money? Big thing, can we get some money? So that's all I got, Mayor.
All right, council, any other discussion? All right, so,
Well, another thing. It says, wait, the money. Yeah. Just, we're not gonna use all of it. We're just gonna- So we want to actually approve to up to 68, what did we say, 60?
960.
And this is contingent, this is in case. We're gonna start the master plan as a 35-8. But once we get all that, we're gonna need some to do the top, how you say that?
Topographic survey. Yeah.
What, can you explain that real quick?
The field survey, that's just capturing everything on the ground. So you'll see survey crews go out there with their equipment, and they'll locate the sidewalks.
But for later on, we can put it in.
Give us elevations and everything, so we can come back and design that with construction documents appropriately. The big thing a lot of times in outdoor spaces, public spaces, is accessibility. So there's certain slopes that we have to work within, and so having that survey certainly helps us get the right information, the right design to allow for drainage and handle drainage appropriately on site as well. So that's what the topographic survey is. The other part of that, the vignettes. So I'll back up just a little bit on the master plan. What we're going to produce is a color graphic, a visual of the plan that we work out. It'll have some notes, kind of high level, identifying the features of the park, and you'll see the connectivity and graphically see that via plan. They will also provide a high level cost estimate, kind of what those components would cost to build the park out. Our estimate on the construction cost. The vignettes, we put that in there as a way to, we can, with 3D modeling, we can take that plan and we can kind of start showing some perspectives and vignettes of the park and maybe what the park would look like from a 3D view. Those are nice, as Councilman Falcone was saying, to go out and fundraise and to get the excitement of the park and the excitement of the development to sell and try to get funding, whether it's through private donations or what we may be able to use them for is in grant applications as well with the master plan and those graphics. So it's not a necessity for what we need to do as far as getting a plan together, but it could be some things that we look at providing the graphics further down the line.
All right.
Nothing else.
Any more discussion? Okay, so we have a motion by Councilman Falcone to approve Resolution 641 for the Odem Economic Development Corporation to approve up to $68,960 to the firm of Half Associates, Inc. for a master plan and agreement for professional service. It's seconded by Councilman Huerta. We'll go ahead and move with a vote. Place 1?
Yes.
Place 2?
Yes.
Place 4?
Yes,
Place 5?
Yes.
The motion carries.
thanks a lot, Mark.
Thank you, Mort.
And wish happy birthday to Robert.
Yes.
Have a safe trip.
So we'll go back to item B, receive a presentation from the American Flood Coalition, then discuss, consider, and take action to approve a resolution to become a city member of the American Flood Coalition. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion. We approve American Coalition.
I have a motion by Councilman Falcone. Do I have a second? No second. Okay, second by Councilman Huerta. Sal, you want to see if they're still on there so we can?
Yeah, they should still be on. I just want to introduce Ruth and Rolando. We met them at the mid-year TML conference. They gave a really good presentation, and they'll go into detail what they're offering. And I'd like to preface their presentation. What doesn't cost us anything to join. It's just going to give us a lot of assistance and understanding and wrapping our heads around what they do and some of the resources that they have, as well as, and then of course, I think Portland is also a member. as
Portland,
well.
Kathy
Yeah,
is a real
and-
strong advocate of
Correct.
this.
and San Patricio County as well. So, yeah. Let American Coalition take it away. Make sure we
All right, thank you guys for joining us. I don't know, Ruth, and if you want to introduce yourselves, I'd really appreciate that.
Can they see us?
We can hear you.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you so much for just giving us the time to be able to speak with you all. I can't see everybody in the room right now, but I do want to thank Administrator Hernandez and also Councilmember Falcon just for the time that you took to come to our luncheon in Texas. It was wonderful meeting you all, and excited to tell the rest of the council more about American Flood Coalition. First, quick introduction. My name is Ruth Akintoye. I serve as the Senior Flood Planning Associate here at American Flood Coalition, and essentially I use my background as an environmental scientist to bring a technical perspective to the work that we do. Additionally, I lead a lot of our work in Texas. I'll hand it over to Rolando to do a quick intro before we dive in.
Thank you so much, Ruth. And hey, good evening, everybody. So glad to be here with you all today, especially after the luncheon and also with everybody that we haven't had the pleasure of meeting yet. I am Rolando Hernandez, and I am the Coalition Engagement Associate at American Flood Coalition. I lead all things member engagement with our local elected leaders. I'm like all of you. So yeah, I'll turn it over to you, Ruth, and we can get started.
Thanks, Rolando. The reason why American Flood Coalition exists is because we understand that floods are the #1 costly and frequent disaster across the nation. It affects everyone from folks in the coast to inland folks to areas that suffer in drought. And we also understand that it's a very personal issue. Folks can get it just takes a few hours of rain or even less for folks to have their basement flooded. And then that's a $10,000 to $20,000 bill. Sometimes folks are living with mold or worrying if their children are going to have asthma. And so we understand that the effects of flooding are very personal. And so together, American Flood Coalition has said, we need to do something about it. Now, finally, I do want to mention that one thing I love about the way that our organization works is we're completely philanthropically funded. And so the work that we do with local governments, with state and federal governments, as well as on behalf, is completely at no cost to all. Membership is completely free. And we just understand that at the end of the day, to address flooding, we want to alleviate the burden on local governments because all are already on the overburden, handling a variety of priorities. That being said, we at the American Flood Coalition are a nonprofit organization that also has a nonpartisan coalition. We are working to ultimately advocate for solutions that address flooding in each and every way possible. Our members are listed on this bottom row, and essentially all our members are essentially anyone really on the front lines of flooding that Texas. So local governments like y'all, elected officials as well, federal champions, businesses, military groups, as well as civic and academic groups. And together, our internal team is ultimately working with our members to ultimately advocate not only at the local level, but the state, or excuse me, to advocate with local members at the state and federal level. And so a lot of the work that we do with locals is ultimately to inform the recommendations we provide at the state and federal level. So as you can see, often me and Rolando like to say, we're a small but mighty team. And with a very large footprint. And this is just a team of folks that ultimately care about the matter and the issue, and are willing to really put their heads down to address it. So our organization is continuously growing. We have over 480 members nationwide, and we're across 22 states at this time. One thing I love about our cross-state work is that what we find is communities across different states, not only in Texas, have a lot of similar flooding challenges. And so we are a believer in why reinvent the wheel when we can actually share knowledge. And so we're able to see some of the challenges as well as some of the solutions that folks are doing in Iowa, in North Carolina, in South Carolina, and Florida, and be able to bring that here in Texas when we see similar challenges, when local governments have questions about models of success, we're able to transfer that knowledge. And also, oftentimes we bring folks together to strategize solutions for these common challenges. So here's a snapshot of some of our members here in Texas. Even though we are a nationally based organization, we work more deeply in a few states. So that is primarily the Carolinas, Florida, and Texas are the states we work the deepest in. And we ultimately believe that as we work deeply in these few states, y'all can also, the work that is being done here can ultimately serve as models of success across the nation, especially take a state like Texas, which is massive, and there's a lot of different geographies, and so it's able to be relatable to a lot of other folks across the nation. So we have over 40 members here. It includes folks like Mayor Barty, Mayor Scurro, and Commissioner Alvarez. These were a few folks that were at our luncheon that y'all might have seen. And ultimately, as I said again, our member and local engagement ultimately informs the recommendations that we provide to state and federal partners. We do a lot of engagement with the Texas Water Development Board, as well as General Land Office, TDEM, and all of the agencies that are ultimately touching flooding. In the next slide, we'll highlight actually a few members that have joined since the luncheon that we've held at the Texas Municipal League Mid-Year Conference. And so I think there are a couple of other folks where we may be doing presentations like the one we're doing now, and we're just happy to see the engagement and ultimately continuing to serve y'all. And on the next slide, I'm going to pass it over to Rolando to talk a little bit more about how we service and how we serve and collaborate with our members.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ruth. And here at AFC, as Ruth mentioned, we want to provide tools that are accessible for anyone, local elected leaders, but also the community itself for free. because as Ruth mentioned, we are philanthropically funded by family donations and large family foundations that thankfully, we rely on so that you folks don't have to spend a single penny. And that's what we're here for. We are a coalition that provides the best in-class educational guides that I'll get to in a little bit. I can't wait to show you guys a little walkthrough of our tools. We also provide effective communication solutions for local elected leaders, giving you guys the best in-class resources for things that you can share on social media, or things that you can provide education to your citizens or information about funding opportunities, for example. But we also serve as a forum, as a network of flooding and information. So every 2 years, we bring leaders to different summits. We also invite leaders on an annual basis to come to Washington, D.C. to meet with their congressmen and congresswomen and talk about flood-related policies and things that are happening in your community that you might want to focus on a larger scale federally, right? So we also focus on that, and we also create a space to give back to communities by creating local resilience pilot opportunities, by going on the ground to these places to really see what's happening and how can we contribute. And at times, we even go the extra mile by providing microgrants. Last time we provided a microgrant was to the lower Rio Grande Valley, actually in Texas, where we hosted an entire conference with them, and it was in South Padre Island. And again, like, these are just some of the few resources that we're able to do because we see the impact that it has. So one of the first resources that I'll get to is the Flood Funding Finder, which the folks that were at the luncheon actually heard a little bit about. But this tool is an interactive online hub for you to identify and prioritize federal funding opportunities for flood resilience projects. As all of you know, if you go to grants.gov and you put flood reduction projects, you're gonna get like over 1,000 hits, right? They're not gonna give you any sort of information about what is it that you're looking for. This tool, when you are typing out what is it that your needs are in relation to what you wanna do, it gives you a solid list. So let's say that you want elevation or restoration for your flood-related projects, right? You're able to search and prioritize this list based out of that. So what does this do? It finds funding information fast. You are able to access it in your mobile device, in your laptop, anywhere by accessing the tool. We also provided a QR code there for you if you want to, but you can also go on our website and search it by floodcoalition.org/funding finder. We also make sure to keep this information updated. As you know, the federal system is always changing deadlines and different sort of like information. So what we do at the coalition is, on a monthly level, look at the entire list and update all of that information to really make informed decisions. We also have the member resource, the Adaptation for All guide, which is the main purpose of the guidebook is really to help local leaders determine approaches to flooding and sea level rise. And a lot of the time, oh, sorry, my connection is a little off, but a lot of the time, these are the type of case studies that we want to highlight. These are, communities that are vulnerable to flooding. So we are going to be highlighting things that are not highlighted out there as much. For example, you may see the city of Miami or the city of Houston always being highlighted online. What the American Flood Coalition does is really give a voice to communities that otherwise wouldn't have. So we try to make this guide possible by giving local leaders different examples of what are the type of projects that they can perform in their communities and what are the type of things that they need to be equipped in order to make it happen. Also, again, apologies for my connection. I believe since I'm sharing screen, it goes on and off. But anyway, this guide, it really makes it easier for local leaders to understand and really drive their flooding solutions forward. Last but not least, we wanted to mention that we also tailor different resources based on the different needs. So in light of flooding events, we at the American Flood Coalition have also developed different flood-related recovery toolkits. These are the types of documents that we try to do after hurricanes and after different disasters have impacted communities. If you all recall, last fall, there was Hurricane Helene, and there was also Hurricane Milton, which really affected, Florida, the Carolinas, and the southeast of the United States. The American Flood Coalition comes together during times like these to provide, for example, checklists to tackling immediate needs. We understand that mayors and council members don't have the capacity of Superman. So we gotta provide priorities for you all. We want to provide immediate needs, and this is the sort of things that we try to do. So we put like checklists together based on what is it that your community can do to provide a response and recovery efforts. Next up, another thing that we've done is, what is it that we can provide you with during the flood recovery process? So we also provide steps for a successful long recovery effort. We understand that you need the short-term plan, but we also need the long-term plan as well. So we try to take it the extra mile by working with all of you to really tailor the best solution based on what you're looking for. And Ruth, maybe you can discuss a little bit more about our models for the country.
Yes, Rolando briefly touched this earlier when he talked about the services that we offer to our members. And so we do local engagement because we know ultimately that all resilience, everything doing to address flooding is ultimately primarily done at the local level. And ultimately we want to see states and federal government supporting all as much as possible. And so in order to stay grounded in what is occurring and really partner, we will have projects where we focus on working directly with communities. And then we take what we learn from that. If there are parts of the system, for example, in the middle, you see that we hosted and coordinated 2 cohort projects in North Carolina, South Carolina, as well as in Iowa, where we worked across 9 different municipalities to ultimately help create a list of high priority flood projects according to the needs of each one of those communities. And then ultimately focused on one project within that year to 2 years. It was a different time frame for each of the cohorts. But we targeted a project that we could use to advance towards towards funding essentially. And so we created a project action plan. And in that plan, we did the work of identifying the federal funding resource. And really we called it a federal funding portfolio because it was, and oftentimes it's really a mix of funding. So federal funding grant, as well as potentially technical assistance offerings that each of those communities applied for, and then also strategies and steps for community engagement, as well as partnerships to help strengthen applications, and ultimately in key information and language that should be put in the grant applications toward funding. And so really kind of taking folks across the process. But I say all that because as we learn parts in the process that work really smoothly, we make sure we share that with our partners in state and federal governments to keep those. And then as we see parts of the process that really are extremely challenging and that communities are finding to be pain points, we make sure to share those recommendations as well as potentially solutions to make it better. So the work that we do locally ultimately is really important for those insights. And then additionally, I share this, there's 2 other examples of pilots here, but I share this in tandem with the next slide to say that all the local work we do, whether it's in Texas or in another state, we ultimately are looking for those federal solutions as well that can ultimately help benefit everybody. So Rolando mentioned Hurricane Helene. Obviously that got national attention, and you don't see this on the slide here, but one thing we did was we created a Western North Carolina coalition with communities in that area that were highly affected by Hurricane Helene and really underprepared. And we were able to help address their immediate needs in the recovery time as a support. But also we were able to fly a lot of those local government officials up to DC and really give them a voice and an opportunity to discuss their concerns and needs and potential solutions. And now we have an opportunity where we're discussing not only with members of Congress, but also with the White House, what can be done to help simplify the system and also increase it during this time to ultimately help benefit local governments as well as state governments. So that's an ongoing work, obviously, but it's just an example of the things that we're advocating for. Additionally, at the federal level, we're looking to make sure federal data that is just better protecting communities like yours. So we think of no Atlas 14 and how a lot of that rainfall data is ultimately used for infrastructure designs. However, we also know that a lot of that data is completely outdated. Even though no Atlas 14 is the standard right now, we've been advocating for no Atlas 15, or at least interim data, to be pushed out sooner. So that way, all the funding and investments that your communities are making are ultimately able to last a long-term connection. Again, I already talked about simplifying federal funding systems. We really have a project concept that says, hey, right now, the system is a bit of a marathon. How can we make it more of a 5K so that it's more digestible and not as overwhelming? And then ultimately understanding that water exists in watersheds. And so it's really important to have state leadership and support to alleviate the burden on local communities so that when one community implements a project, it's not causing downstream flooding. And so that coordination is really a key component.
Thank you, Ruth. And we also wanted to touch on some of the ways that we have helped the state of Texas specifically. By the way, I wanted to mention that everything that Ruth just mentioned, like the travel of the local elected leaders, getting them to go to DC, getting them to go to the areas of crises. Let's say something happened in Texas near the city of Odem, God willing, nothing happens, right? Knock on wood. But AFC will be there to help you all. And again, for free. We provide all of those resources because we have the partnerships in the network. So let me explain to you a little bit about how some of those efforts that we have led. So we served as the leading flood mitigation advocate with the Texas Water Infrastructure Coalition, which celebrated $625 million for the Flood Infrastructure Fund during the 2023 state legislative session. That was a big win for us as a coalition and for Texas engagement overall. The American Flood Coalition Action, which is our C4 branch of our nonprofit, meaning it is the side of us that does more of that lobbying and political activism and advocacy. We invested in Texas water infrastructure and became a part of the members for the Water Coalition, including creating a long-term dedicated revenue for water. We also made sure to provide input on the state of Texas flood plan. And Ruth actually serves as one of our lead advisors for this initiative. And it really helps us drive and understand data within the state a little bit more to then provide those resources locally to folks like you all. And then, of course, this is all in conjunction with the Texas Water Development Board. And yeah, on the right here, you can see a picture of us with the Lower Rio Grande Valley folks. That's the event that I mentioned that we partnered with and gave a micro grant to, which was a really big win for us to really make those connections in the Lower Rio Grande Valley, which is often a region that really doesn't get the right attention when it comes to flooding and the impacts that it is vulnerable to. Here is the Local Elected Leaders Summit. I wanted to really end with this slide here because this is the main event at the American Flood Coalition. Every 2 years, we invite the mayors and the city council. For example, we would invite the city of Odem to join us at Washington, D.C., which is a multi-day event where we bring over 40 leaders together that discuss flooding and sea level rise. They meet with their congressmen and congresswomen. Last time we had folks from Texas meet with senators and representatives Weber, Cruz, De La Cruz, Vicente Gonzalez, like you name it, we are able to get you there to the forefront of these folks, again, for free, because we just want to build a bridge and make it happen. We have representation from many different states, like the ones that Ruth mentioned, Florida, Iowa, North Carolina, South Carolina, Texas, Virginia. And that really led us to recruit new members Again, we have new mayors and new council members that are now part of us from, across the United States that were really elemental this initiative that we brought together. And we've done this already like 3 times. We plan on doing it 3 more and maybe 300 more times as much as we continue growing. And we're very excited for the future. But, we really wanted to end there and mention that, again, joining is free of charge. We would be delighted if you all take us into consideration today when passing the resolution. If you have any questions and if we are able to just be of resource to you, please don't hesitate to reach out. Contact us online. Our information is there. And I have shared this with Sal Hernandez, so please feel free to bother him if you need anything from us too. He has all of our contact info. But Ruth, I'll turn it over to you to give your concluding thoughts.
Thanks, Rolanda. I think you rounded us out very well. So we're just happy to take any questions, and thank you again for your time.
I have a question. This is Mayor Maldonado. Do we have to access your services? Can we be proactive? I know we've had issues in the past with flooding in our community, and we've tried to address them in different ways. But do we have to wait until we have an issue, or can we be a little proactive and maybe reach out for your assistance, ahead of time?
That's a great question. And we're really focused on those proactive measures, actually. We're really focused on mitigation and resilience and not just waiting for flooding events to occur. We often will step in because we know a lot of our members and communities are sometimes caught in a bind when a storm occurs and they need help with recovery. But that is not actually our focus area. Oftentimes it's on the proactive side. So the answer to that is a big yes. I do also it just made me think, we don't typically do any type of contracts or anything like that. That's why we say we're really an honest broker in this. And so we're not always going to work on specific projects. But when it comes to strategies and when it comes to access to resource, when it comes to models of success, that's really where we try to step in. So big yes to that question.
Fantastic. Really appreciate it. Because as for many of us who grew up in our little community here, I think most of us know where it floods. When the rains start coming down, we know which houses need to start thinking about evacuating. And like I said, we've tried different things in the past to try to address those issues, and sometimes not fully successful, but I hope that I appreciate your all's time, and I know that with your help, we might be able to actually address those concerns going forward.
Yeah, and that's really our main goal. We also, by the way, as Ruth mentioned, you don't have to wait until disasters happen, right? Let's say you have ideas, you want to talk strategy about what can you do, those one-pagers that we showed you or the resources. If you have ideas of ways to make it like City of Odem specific flooding resources, that's where you can let us know and we can work with you. And of course, if you don't need a flooding event to happen for us to help you, absolutely not. That's actually what we try to redo. We try to be proactive. We try to have these things already in place so that you guys save time and save money, because these things are expensive if you don't have folks that are there with you to take you through the ride, right?
Right. Any questions, Council? Okay. Well, we're going to go ahead and we don't have any more questions, but I'm going to move forward here with a vote on the resolution. I have a motion by Councilman Falcon to consider action to approve a resolution to become a city member of the American Flood Coalition. It was seconded by Councilman Huerta. There's no more discussion. We'll move forward with a vote. Place 1?
Yes.
Place 2?
Yes.
Place 4?
Yes.
And place 5.
Yes.
Thank you all so much. If y'all are still there.
Absolutely. We're here.
You
Thank
can
you as well. We're thrilled to have you.
sign us
and look
up.
forward to collaborating more.
We do too. Sign us up. Thank you so much, Ruth.
Thank you, Ruth. Thank you, Roland.
All righty. Thank you, team. Have a great evening, okay?
Bye-bye.
Keep in
You
touch.
too. I got that there. Right. I think that's going to be a good thing for,
Yeah, it was a good
For us.
presentation.
yeah.
And if you want more information, call Kathy.
Okay. We're going to move on to item D, discuss, consider, and take action to approve an amended drought contingency plan for the city of Odem. Sal, would you like to kind of brief the council on this measure? Oh, I'm sorry, do we have a motion?
I make a motion, we discuss and take action on the amended drought contingency plan for the city.
I have a motion by Councilman Falcon. Do I have a second? Second by Councilman Alvaro. Okay, now we can move forward. Sal, you want to go ahead and,
Sure. So we have about 32 pages. I'm not going to go through them all. This is basically just piggybacking off of what the San Patricio Water District developed for their contingency. It's a requirement. And like I said, without getting too much into it, it's just going into reiterating all the stages. Stage one from mild water shortage to stage two of mild water shortage to a stage two, it's moderate water storage, and then stage three, which we're in now, critical water storage, and just sort of reiterate sort of the ramifications of not abiding by by these stages in order to preserve water. So, I mean, I guess, do you have any specific questions? I know I'd handed this over to y'all to kind
okay,
of go through, but
And
it's pretty extensive.
just read that we are doing we are putting on it in the water bills. And I see Donna has it on the billboard over there.
Yes,
So I think we're doing our part.
we're doing the best we can. Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
looks like it,
I know. We've gotten some reports of people potentially maybe not abiding by it, but we've like when we're kind of driving around that one time doing some road assessments. Councilman Huerta and Falcon were along with me, and we saw someone who wasn't abiding, so we took care of it and made sure they understood, handed them all the paperwork and stuff. But yeah, we are communicating that through text message as well. I believe there should have been something went out a while back. We can continue to do that as well along the way, and then on the water bills as well. So it's on our website, Facebook.
We can also put put this plan on our website.
Yes,
So they can have access to it.
right.
and for some of you folks out there that don't know, we are in stage three.
Stage three.
Right now, if you don't know or not sure what exactly stage three means, feel free to call City Hall anytime. Sal or one of the staff would be glad to let you know when you can water, when you can't water, what exactly you can do when we're in stage three. So let's try to do our best to conserve the water that we have right now. Of course, our water source is the city of Corpus Christi, and they're on the news pretty much every week about having issues with water, and so we don't want the city to come back and that it affects our community. So please, if you're not sure out there what stage three really means, feel free to call City Hall, and someone can help you better understand that. Do you have any more questions or discussion? So we have a motion from Councilman Falcon to approve the amended drought contingency plan for the city of Odem. It was seconded by Councilman Alvaro. We move with a vote. Place one, place two, place four,
Yes.
and place five. This motion carries. Item E, discuss, consider, and take action to approve a resolution of commitment to the Coastal Bend Water Alliance. Sal, I'll let you take that one also.
So this was a resolution drafted by state from Adam. I'm sorry, I'm getting to it real quick here. Sorry.
Is that in our packet here?
Yes, it's at the end of it. Under the 32 pages of the contingency.
Okay. Okay, here we go.
So State Senator Adam Hinojosa's office had been reaching out to municipalities and putting out this, basically trying to create this alliance. Essentially, basically creating a unified a force, so to speak, in the efforts to conserve our water. Also, in that same resolution, there was a call to the Texas legislature to expand the Port of Corpus Christi Commission from 7 to 9 members on that, consistent with House Bill 2120. Again, ensuring that the coastal Bend's region key economic contributors have a strong voice in that port's decision-making process, and that we're hoping that those additional spots will go to San Patricio County.
So I'm going to go ahead and move with a motion to approve the resolution of commitment to the Coastal Bend Water Alliance. So I have a motion. So we have a motion by Councilman Huerta. Do I have a second? I have a second by Councilman Alvaro to approve a resolution for the commitment to the Coastal Bend Water Alliance. And I'm going to go ahead and read the resolution before we take the vote on it. A resolution declaring unified commitment to the development of regional water supplies. Whereas the coastal Bend region has experienced severe drought conditions with water levels critically low and future water supply projects still years from completion. And whereas access to reliable water supplies is essential for the economic stability, industrial growth, public health, and overall prosperity of the coastal Bend region. And whereas cities, counties, industries, and economic leaders throughout the coastal Bend have historically pursued individual water solutions, which has resulted in fragmentation and a failure to secure the level of state and federal funding necessary to meet the region's growing water needs. And whereas the Texas legislature and the Texas Water Development Board have made substantial funding available for large-scale water infrastructure projects, including desalination, groundwater development, aquifer storage and recovery, and interbasin transfers, prioritizing regions that demonstrate strong intergovernmental collaboration and regional planning. And whereas the Coastal Bend has worked together in the united voice and are committed to our long-term water supply projects to ensure a stronger, more resilient water future for our communities. And whereas the Coastal Bend has displayed a decisive and collective action to position our region and secured critical state funding for water infrastructure investment, strengthening economic development, continuing to attract industrial growth, and ensuring a reliable water source to support the Coastal Bend region or continued prosperity. And whereas by working together, the Coastal Bend Water Alliance will ensure that the region takes control of its water future, preventing unnecessary water shortages, increasing resilience against drought, and securing the resources needed to support future generations. Now, therefore, be it resolved that 1, the city of Odem formally joins the Coastal Bend Water Alliance and commits to full participation in regional efforts to develop and secure water supplies for the region. 2, the city of Odem publicly supports a unified strategy to identify, advocate for, and implement long-term water supply solutions, including desalination, groundwater development, aquifer development, interbasin water transfer, and infrastructure investment. The city of Odem commits to adopting policies and initiatives that encourage regional cooperation, support funding applications, and promote legislative advocacy to secure state and federal investment in coastal Bend water infrastructure. The city of Odem calls upon the Texas legislature, Texas Water Development Board, and relevant state and federal agencies to recognize the coastal Bend as a high priority region for water infrastructure investment and to provide low interest rate loans and grant funding necessary to implement seawater desalination solutions. The city of Odem encourages all municipalities, counties, industrial partners, and economic stakeholders in the coastal Bend to pass similar resolutions demonstrating a collective commitment to regional water security and representation in the governance of the Port of Corpus Christi. The city of Odem calls upon the Texas legislature to expand the Port of Corpus Christi Commission from 7 to 9 members, consistent with House Bill 2120, ensuring that the coastal Bend region's key economic contributors have a stronger voice in the port's decision-making process. So we'll move on to a vote. Place 1.
Yeah.
Place 2.
Look at discussion first.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry.
I don't know if we're gonna have a problem with this, but 6, it says 7 to 9. But is that gonna be mostly Portland? Mathis? I mean,
It just said it's from San Patricio County.
I think,
San Patricio County.
I think the commissioners court is going to, I guess, they will have the final say on where these candidates or these new members, if approved, are going to be coming from. And I think that our mayor's coalition has been strongly
okay, I've been,
advocating that, we need to ensure that other communities like,
Mathis.
some of our farming communities like Odem, Mathis, Taft
okay,
are represented in the Port Authority. Because while we are all in San Patricio County, we don't all have the same
right.
problems. And but the smaller communities like us, we still are a farming community, and we need to be our voice needs to be heard. So I think we're making an effort to really push that.
So
We
get
need to be
9,
represented.
okay. I just want to make sure, because if not, I don't want all that, the industry side, and nothing from Mathis, nothing from Odo, for nothing said, so we just rely on their opinions for us.
Yes, and I think, like I said, the mayors, myself, and the mayors from the other smaller farming communities have been advocating that we need to bring someone who's going to represent us and some of the issues that we have in our communities. So,
Okay, I'm happy with that.
all right, any more discussion? All right, we'll move with a vote. Place 1,
Yes.
place 2, place 4,
Yes,
and place 5. The motion carries.
Mayor, on the last page of the contingency, whenever you get a chance, it also needs a signature.
Mm,
It would have been the item before this, but I can show it to you.
Okay. Okay, item F, discuss, consider, and take action to approve the use of total of $34,910.99 of the city's impound funds to pave and improve the city's impound yard. Do I have a motion? All right, no motion. The item dies. We'll move on to place item G. Discuss, consider, and take action to accept I'm sorry. I think that we're going to try to table this, are we? Or do we have, I know I saw a couple of firemen here.
I don't know, y'all need to. make that motion
Discuss,
to table.
consider, and take action to accept a donation of 1 fire truck obtained by the Odem Volunteer Fire Association. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we discuss.
Okay, a motion from Councilman Falcon to just discuss. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Councilman Huerta. So we'll move on to discussion. It's my understanding, Chief, if you want to come up here, that you have not taken possession of this vehicle, so we might be a little bit ahead of the game here.
Yeah, so I just spoke with Chief Miller from Ingleside today. Truck will be, they won't be ready to release until next week sometime, probably middle of next week. So, yeah, just, somebody haven't got that yet, so.
Okay.
I think we should go ahead and approve it. Once they have possession of it, you said it's gonna need a little bit of work.
Yeah.
So you're gonna need insurance, so you might as well, once they get possession of it. I know I spoke to your treasurer today, they're ready to pay it, it's just waiting.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we can always approve it, and if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. You just
Set
we'll
up.
retract, and that's it.
I mean, in order to accept something, you guys have to approve it. So in this case,
Well, I'd like to change my motion to
then
approve.
you can take possession of it.
Well,
Take
the
the donation, accept the donation.
thing is that the Odem, they have their own association. It's a nonprofit organization, and they're the ones that are actually purchasing the vehicle from Ingleside. It's not the City of Odem Volunteer Fire Department. It's their nonprofit organization that is actually purchasing the vehicle. And then they will, in turn, once they have purchased it, donate it to the City of Odem. So I don't know if there's, it's not, the city's not involved in the initial purchase of the vehicle.
Well, it does say, it says, consider and take action to accept the donation of a fire truck obtained by the Odem Volunteer Fire Department, so.
We're
They're
Volunteer
abstaining.
Firefighter Association.
So, I mean, I make a motion.
But they haven't yet purchased it.
Yeah, so I'm just trying to see, make sure that legally, since they are the association, that's,
First and then.
I don't know.
Yeah, but it's gonna hold them back another, because if he's gonna take possession next week,
Have you-
unless we do canvassing.
Have you bought the truck yet?
No, we haven't paid nothing yet. We're not
We should
waiting
purchase
until
the
we
first
actually.
and
And,
then.
Yeah.
and there's no question that you have the funds to purchase the truck? Okay. And what are the holdups right now? Why?
So, they were waiting to get their new truck, which they already got. They were getting it outfitted. I spoke to him today. He's actually gonna be demoing the truck at the Hurricane.
Tomorrow conference.
Yeah, tomorrow, or this week, so it'll be there. So they still need the truck. Then they would receive their truck back from over here, and they'll do a little bit more outfitting, and then they're good to go, so.
On a legal note, I did go to the city council meeting that they did donate it to the city of Odem. They wanted me to write a check. I
Yeah.
said, not right now.
So I think they, yeah, I think they were a little bit, there was some misunderstanding as well
So they
over
did,
there.
so
So-
they did already, the city of, Inglewood has already.
They've approved
They
the,
approved Donation.
the donation to the association. So I just need to make sure that, since it's
So
not
is it
actually
a
the city.
donation going over to you guys or you?
No,
actually
they're
paying
buying
for
it for, they're buying it for $1,000.
Okay. Okay. Well, I mean, technically, we don't have the truck yet, so you kept bringing it before us to say, well, we're gonna accept the donation, because you're gonna be donated over to the city, right?
Yes,
Is that the plan?
yes.
Okay. Then I would suggest that we just wait until you actually have the truck and then we put it on the agenda.
Could it be contingent upon their purchase or no?
That's what I was saying. I mean, what if they call them up in the next 2 or 3 days and say,
It's
hey,
ready.
it's ready to go?
Yeah.
Then we're
Mm.
gonna have to wait.
Well, then we can put it on the agenda for next Tuesday, another item on the next Tuesday's
Because, I
agenda.
mean, if we vote on it, basically, we're already approving for them to go ahead and take it on. Well, they're gonna buy it no matter what.
Mhm.
You know, we just want it,
You can do it contingent on the fact that you get the truck.
right.
Without contingency, you accept it.
And if they never get it, we're not on the hook for anything.
Mhm.
Okay, so can you want to go ahead and change your motion, Councilman?
It's contingent on them actually taking possession of the truck.
Can we change the wording on this then?
Yeah, you can
It just
change
says,
it.
Mhm.
discuss and take action to accept it. Okay, I said, I'll make a motion that we take action to accept the donation of the fire truck in contingent that they do receive it within, do I make a time thing? No.
No, no.
In contingent they received it
Okay, so we have
in their
a
possession.
motion from Councilman Falcon to accept a donation of one fire truck obtained by the Odem Volunteer Firefighters Association contingent on the acquisition of the fire truck. Do I have a second? And second by Councilman Huerta. If there's no more discussion, we'll move to a vote. Place one?
Yes.
Place two? Place four?
Yes.
Place five? All right, motion carries. All right. Thank you, Chief. I appreciate it. And I appreciate what you guys are doing out there. I know it's been a busy, summer hasn't even really gotten here yet, but y'all have been really busy with grass fires. And I think I'm gonna uninstall that app from my phone because it's going off at all hours of the night. So we definitely appreciate it. Thank you. So we're going on to item H, discuss, consider, and take action to approve an agreement between Andy Soto to allow fencing and cattle on city property located at 4400 County Road 2221 near the wastewater treatment plant. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we discuss it.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
So I have a motion by Councilman Huerta to discuss an agreement with Andy Soto to allow fencing and cattle at the city property located at 44 County Road, second by Councilman Falcon. We also have Mr. De Leon. You want to come up and
He's going to present something.
Do you have a picture?
He's going to make a
yeah,
presentation.
he's going to make a presentation.
Yeah.
I just have a couple of concerns, with these cows. First, when y'all guys put the sewer plant out there too, we weren't supposed to hear it or smell it. When I walked out of my house, I think I smelled it, you know. That's not a good smell. And you can hear it all night and all day. You know, now we're gonna have cows next door. And, you know, if you go to my neighbor's house, he has a couple of sheep and they have, where we live, it's sand. It's like beach sand. As soon as the sheep started walking on that grass, they started uprooting that grass. When they grab a piece of grass, they tear it out. There's nothing but sand. And you know the wind blows from the southeast hard, and it blows right now. Even when there's grass in that property, it blows across it. I mean, sometimes it hurts, you know, and imagine no grass, it's gonna be bad, man. I just don't see why, even if I was, we were like, we say, hey, what do you think about us doing this? It's all of a sudden, somebody's gonna strike and fence the water in my yard, you know, guys, in my yard. No permission, I don't know what's going on, so that's what I call it. Ask the question. And, I was told to do it because, we discussed, you get fire break. And I was saying, if it's for a fire break, I know already. I'll go in for free. You don't need cows out there. You don't need another liability out there. I'll go in for free. You know, I live right next door to this, so why, you know, I mean, I can avoid having cows and the smell, you know, that smell. And, you know, I'll mow you guys going for free for you guys. And, you know, see, you know, if that's an option, you know. I don't know what else, you know, like I said, man, and we have our dogs and our animals out there, they don't like the cows, you know, they won't be dealing with neighborhood dogs all night long to bark. I mean, it's, you know, it's already bad enough that we live in the north, you know, there's always kind of animals, but now we're gonna have cows up there. I would appreciate it if it wouldn't happen, but I mean, that's why I'm here, to just voice my opinion, man. And if it's an issue with the fire break, I'll go for free. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to pay me. If there's something I need to sign for liability, I'll sign it. It doesn't matter. You know, I don't like the smell. I don't believe that I live there. Nobody else does, you know? So, I mean, how would you feel if somebody come to your house and say, I'm gonna put cows next door and the smell? You probably would want it, you know? I mean, and it's just not fair that somebody else that doesn't even live there makes that decision for me. You know, really, we should consider that. Other than that, man, that's all I got. I appreciate your time. And like I said, I'll do it for free. You don't need to do, you know.
Thank you, Mr. De Leon. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Is there a fence already?
No.
There's no fence there yet?
There's no discussion.
There's fence missing all around that place. The only fence that's kept up is from Hawaii, where they have cows.
On the other side, okay. Back on the right side, correct?
Yes. Oh, yeah, well,
And you live in a cul-de-sac, correct?
I live in the cul-de-sac. I live behind, yeah, that cul-de-sac, I live down behind there, yeah. But, like I said, you know, we weren't supposed to hear and smell something, but we still did. You know what, you know, I just want cows. I don't,
Mr. Soto, you wanna?
I'm given, I'm sure no less than 10,000 presentations in my life, and I'm a little nervous for this. I'm a retired professor of biology at A&M Kingsville. This one gets me nervous, I'm not sure. But, is that the first slide? Good. The first slide, I just wanted to introduce myself, the project. And then I saw this as I was paying my bill 2 days ago. It's a nice depiction of what's going on in Odem. And it's got some cows, and it's an agriculture community, farmland and recreational things, refineries, fishing. I thought it was making a windmill. The author, the painter of this must have had foresight, because there's a windmill.
Oh, at the back?
Yeah, of the tractor to the right. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, it's a huge windmill. He might have just thought it was a water one. Maybe, I don't know, he might have foresight. But anyway, My name is Andy Soto, and I'm want to build a fence around the sewage treatment facility to house a few, to keep a few cows, and I'll talk more about that. And I thought before I started this that it was that simple, but it's not that simple. Just my clicker.
Just let her know.
Okay. Okay, so where is the, there's no pointer.
I can point to you. Where do you want? Right here.
This is the treatment facility. If you drive through Bethel, right through there, over here, a little bit, right there, right there, there's a building that's owned by San Patricio County Municipal Water District. And then you continue going straight, and you get to the treatment plant for the city of Odem. And okay, there's one entry road and 2 gates to get in, although they're really closed. And the whole thing is about 50 acres, and it is sandy. Most of it is. Go ahead. So here is the County Road 2221 as you go in, and to the right is the San Patricio Municipal Water District. Now, I made it a point to go visit them and talk to them because it was potentially going to go affect them. And this project turns out to be a Homeland Security problem.
Right.
Because it's drinking water. And so the San Patricio County Municipal, they have to go and mow the property. There's a pipeline that runs from the railroad track across into the next ranch, across and they mow it all. And they need to mow it to have access to valves and things like that. And so I got to know the individual there, and he's eager to work with us here. And they do take water samples, and there's that pipeline. That pathway gets mowed. Not all of it gets mowed, just the pathway. Go ahead. Okay, so current conditions of the fence. On 2 of the sides, it's got a pretty good barbed wire fence. On the other side, where the cul-de-sac is, where the county building is, it has some fencing, but it needs a new fence. And then close to the railroad tracks, it needs a new fence there as well. And that's also, it'd be a good idea for the city of Odem to completely fence it in anyway, because of the Homeland Security issue. And so what I want to do is I'm going to fence that in so to put a few cows there. Now that's about a stretch of a little over a half a mile to about 3,000 feet, something like that. It's a lot of work. I've got a helper there, and I've since gotten an auger to do other things, but she's a good little helper. Okay.
I want to add, as you're going through the slide, that in the 2 years that I've been here, I've caught people fishing out there. I've caught people dove hunting out there. And I've caught some people actually, there's a little swamp area right here, duck hunting in here. They actually had a blind set up, and it's been there for a while because it was set up pretty nice. And they were duck hunting in here. As Dr. Soto mentioned, there's no existing fence here. And the resident that lives right here at the end of this cul-de-sac mentioned to me that he has seen vehicles come through here. There's a pole, there's wooden poles